Let's just be real for a second. We all have this image in our heads of terrifying monsters waiting out in the wild to get us, right? Well, in this explainer, we're going to count down 10 animals that are actually capable of killing humans. And along the way, we're absolutely going to challenge some of our deepest perceptions about nature's most feared creatures. Because as you'll see when we look at the data, the reality of animal encounters is, well, it's way more complex and honestly much more surprising than the myths we grew up with.
But before we get into the wild stuff, we kind of need to set a baseline here. Animal fatalities, they are incredibly rare. Wildlife biologist Michelle Oakley actually hit the nail on the head. She noted that out there in the field, her daily work involves everything from dodging literal problem bears to, get this, getting bitten by a chihuahua. So the odds of an animal actually taking you out are really slim. But today, we're diving into those highly unlikely yet intensely dangerous moments when primal instinct just totally takes over.
Okay, moving into Section 1, Adapting to Human Encroachment, Predators Navigating Our World. Let's just jump right in.
So we're starting with wild apex predators, and you really have to look at this staggering contrast. Believe it or not, our beloved pets are statistically way deadlier than the wild canines that usually haunt our imaginations. I mean, in the US alone, domesticated dogs kill up to 40 people every single year. Their wild cousins? They get nowhere close to that number. Yet when wild canines do lose that natural fear of us, the results can be absolutely terrifying.
Take dingoes in Australia, for example. These are ancient dogs operating in these really tight wolf-like packs. They rely on sheer endurance, and tragically, attacks usually happen when they start linking humans with an easy meal. Over in North America, coyotes are highly adaptable, and they've basically filled the void left by eradicated wolves. Get this, there are roughly 4,000 of them adapting to life right in downtown Chicago alone. And up on the East Coast, we're seeing the rise of the coyote wolf. It's this larger coyote-wolf hybrid. Because of its size and the fact that it's lost so much fear of humans, it actually led to a really rare, fatal attack on a 19-year-old hiker in Nova Scotia.
Now, to put that into perspective, this brings us to what might literally be the ultimate encroachment clash. Imagine up to 40 incredibly powerful, athletic leopards thriving in a national park that borders 20 million people in Mumbai. I mean, a leopard is the ultimate athlete, right? It's a 150-pound cat that can drag its prey straight up a tree. In India, they've somehow managed to thrive right alongside these massive human populations. They mostly move into the city at night to hunt stray dogs, but in the process, they do occasionally turn to human prey. And that has resulted in dozens of horrifying attacks over the last 20 years.
Moving right along to Section 2, Toxic and Tiny Tears, 8 legs and 6 legs of pain.
So you definitely don't have to be a 150-pound big cat to take down a human. Sometimes, the absolute deadliest weapons in nature fit right on the tip of your finger. Take the Sydney funnel web spider. Found mainly around Sydney, Australia, these guys get flushed out of their burrows during heavy rains. They hide in suburban boots, jackets, and, get this, they can even survive in backyard pools by making their own little air bubbles. It's mostly the roaming males looking for a mate that are the aggressive ones, and when they strike, they bring their fangs down with enough force to literally pierce a human toenail, delivering venom that can kill within an hour. But here's the good news. Thanks to an anti-venom invented in the 1980s, there have been exactly 0 fatalities since.
And honestly, it's just mind-blowing to see how these tiny armies operate. Pound for pound, ants kind of rule the world. And the pain scale here is just wild. Stepping on fire ants in Costa Rica, they say it feels like falling inside a volcano. Then you have bullet ants, which are almost an inch long, and they deliver pain that's literally akin to being shot. But the Australian bull ant takes the crown. If you accidentally sit on a nest, they bite you with their mandibles just to hold on tight, and then repeatedly inject venom with a rear stinger. For us humans, those blood cell-destroying enzymes from multiple stings can actually set off deadly anaphylaxis.
All right, let's step back in time. Section 3, Prehistoric Ambush Predators, Giant Reptiles Among Us.
20 feet. Just picture that for a second. That is the staggering potential length of a Burmese python. It's an invasive, literal eating machine native to Southeast Asia that is absolutely thriving in Florida right now. Thanks entirely to irresponsible exotic pet owners, they have decimated 90% of mammals in the Everglades. They literally unhinge their jaws to swallow prey way larger than themselves. We're talking even alligators. And sadly, the rare fatalities that do happen usually occur when owners just get way too comfortable keeping these 200-pound wild constrictors in their own homes.
Now, speaking of prehistoric, we have to talk about Komodo dragons. These are the biggest lizards on Earth, weighing up to 200 pounds. As the ultimate ambush predators, they'll actually gang up to take down a 1,000-pound buffalo. But what's truly terrifying is what's inside their mouths.
Up until 2009, scientists thought it was just nasty bacteria that killed their prey. But actually, researchers discovered venom ducts hidden between 60 heavily serrated, backward-curving teeth. They do this brutal puncture and pull bite, introducing a lethal venom that totally prevents blood clotting. And then, they literally just follow the bleeding prey around until it collapses from muscle fatigue and blood loss. Unbelievable.
Now, how about 3,000 pounds? That is the astonishing pressure with which an American alligator snaps its jaws shut. They were once endangered, but now over 1 million gators share Florida with 21 million residents. And that's a pretty stark warning as we keep building golf courses and neighborhoods right on top of their swamps. They lie low, keeping just their eyes and snout above the water, basically waiting like a steel trap. If you encroach on their territory, they grab on with 80 teeth, spin into that fearsome death roll to drag their catch underwater, and yeah, it's game over.
Okay, moving to Section 4, the ocean's vacuum. Unpredictable apex predators. Leaving the swamps behind, we are plunging into the Pacific to meet the ocean's most unpredictable vacuum cleaner, the tiger shark. While the great white usually gets all the Hollywood fame, the tiger shark is actually number 2 in unprovoked attacks. They are famously indiscriminate eaters. I mean, they've been found with trash cans, license plates, stomach acid strong enough to digest garbage, you name it. They're known for ambushing sea turtles, but what makes an accidental human encounter so dangerous is that our splashing and our elevated heart rates act like a ringing dinner bell to the electrosensors around their snout. And unlike great whites, tiger sharks are notorious for repeatedly attacking instead of just swimming away after an initial bite. So, what does this all mean? After examining big cats, venomous spiders, prehistoric dragons, and sharks, we've finally reached the climax of our explainer. And it comes with a question that is going to totally upend your expectations. We've talked about venom that stops blood from clotting, 3,000-pound jaw pressure, fangs that pierce toenails. What could possibly top all of that? Which animal kills the most? Yes, no joke, you are reading that right. The number 1 deadliest animal on our countdown is the cow. The seemingly docile, grass-chewing cow. I know, it sounds like a complete joke after talking about Komodo dragons and tiger sharks, but listen, the statistics absolutely do not lie. The statistical reality of our world is just wild. You are vastly more likely to be killed by a 1,500-pound bovine than a terrifying ocean predator. In the United States alone, cattle cause an average of 22 deaths every single year. Compare that to shark attacks, which account for roughly 1 fatality every 2 years. The numbers aren't even close. But why? Why on earth are these farm animals taking out more humans than apex predators?
Well, it really comes down to this. Cows aren't malicious, okay? They're simply massive animals reacting defensively to human handling. We are talking about creatures that weigh up to 1,500 pounds, with some big bulls hitting 2,000. As prey animals, their instinct is flight or fight. So when they get forced into tight pens or chutes, they panic. Mix that cornered prey response with the volatile temperaments of massive bulls pushed for sport or the fierce defensive instincts of a mama cow protecting her calf from a farmhand, and you've got a recipe for disaster. We are literally just putting ourselves in close physical contact with multi-ton animals every single day.
Okay, let's wrap this up. Across all 10 of these creatures, from the tiny bull ant to the massive tiger shark, the undeniable common thread here is self-preservation. It's not malice. Whether it's a funnel web spider reacting to a foot shoved into a shoe, a leopard adapting to a shrinking forest, or a cow terrified in a farming chute, these attacks are almost always a result of circumstance. Like Michelle Oakley said, they aren't out to get us. They aren't sitting around plotting against humans. They are just acting on millions of years of instinct, trying to survive the day.
And that leaves us with a final, provocative thought to ponder the next time you venture out into the wilderness, or honestly, even just take a drive past the local dairy farm. When we continually expand into wild habitats, or force powerful animals into stressful situations, who is really the danger to whom? Are these animals truly the monsters of our nightmares? Or are we the ultimate disruptors, forcing them into corners where they have literally no choice but to fight back? It's a question that completely changes how you view the wild world around us. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.